So the other things that the association's been doing, we've been helping other forces set up their associations as well. The last one we did was Leicestershire. So we will continue to do that. But it was as a result of having ourselves established and being in a position to actually go out there and help others as well. Okay, so benefits to the policing also involves around issues in the community as well. We provided an insight to our supervisors about how to tackle issues when they arise, about the sentiments about the Sikhs. So we're also producing documents as well. So now that we're going national, we're hoping to work with other organisations in the government as well to actually get that understanding a bit more clear and to share with other forces around the country. Okay, so local engagement. Working with charities. We're not here to reinvent the wheel. And this is a message I'd like to give out to the community as well. It's not about someone's doing something, let's do the same as well. We don't need to do that. Let's not reinvent the wheel. What we're about is looking at organisations that are doing great work out there, and the way we look at it, how can we actually help them and support them to grow stronger? Right? So it's not about branding, that we want to push our brand. It's about how can we, in our position as officers, in our day-to-day work, how can we use our skill sets that we have gained to help organisations become that little bit better, and that's what we're about. So when we see an organisation doing well, we will help them in any way that they want, really. I mean, the organisation, the associations raise thousands for charities. I mean, Sonny here is a prime example who on a regular basis will raise hundreds of thousands of pounds for charities. The picture on the top right is working with those individuals in the community that want to do that little bit more, who want to go the extra mile. So that was a contact we had in the community who wanted to supply sleeping bags and warm clothing to the community. They were in contact with ourselves and we helped facilitate that, where officers from up and down the West Midlands came to collect those items to give to the homeless. And that's not us doing anything extraordinary. That's just us being Sikhs. And I think that's that's something to remember as a Sikh as well. Sometimes, yes, the community does a lot, but really all we're doing is we're doing what's expected of us and what we've been commanded to do. Okay, local engagement. There was a picture I was attempting to put of the chief looking very dashing in his biking gear, but I thought maybe not. But I'm setting up a WhatsApp group afterwards. I can forward it on that. So for the last 2 years, we've been helping the Sikh helpline, supported the annual bike ride. Gyan Sukasing is here. Please do speak to him during the break as well. It's formidable work, and we work quite closely with him in helping out with issues around policing. And we have to accept sometimes, the different channels, people don't contact the police, but they will contact the likes of Gyan Sukasing on the Sikh helpline. So what we do is we encourage the individuals to report matters to the police, which is key. And then with ourselves going national, we're hoping that we can help Gyan Sukasing that a little bit more. Okay, and it's important, like I said, about being part of the community. We are the community. So we take part in Nagar Kirtans and also camps as well. I think it's important for the youngsters to see a physical presence, not just of a police officer in a picture, but actually to physically see police officers in the flesh, really. So during the camps as well, we will go and talk about, have officers that are in specific departments to come out and talk about stuff to the children. And that's just using our expertise as officers and bringing it out to the community. Okay, so it's called International Charity Work. It should be called Around the World with Eek. Eek is, she's right at the back there. She's our little international mascot. So she works quite closely with Khalsa Aid. Just us, a bit more. Okay, so she's been out to Nepal and Haiti doing charity work with Khalsa Aid. Brilliant example of funds raised from the Sikh Association will go to Eek, who will actually not just give the funds into a pot, she will actually physically go there and help out as well. We're hoping that we can encourage other officers to do that, and that's with the support of the forces as well. Really. So these type of initiatives will be coming your way, and all we ask is that you support it. Some of the things we've done internationally in India is a free dental camp for those that can't afford treatment. Working with international partners to go out there and deliver these camps. There's also worked in orphanages as well, and that's an area of work which we will be increasing on as well. and giving the opportunity to officers and colleagues and police staff to go out abroad to spread the message of the work we're doing. Yeah. Okay, so alcohol abuse. We're not here to shy away from issues that affect the community. That's not what we're about. Alcohol abuse is a massive issue in the community. And there's two organisations we work in Shanti here as well, and also DETOR, which is a referral agency that we can refer people in without having a waiting list, because we know the issues that are around there. There will be some ongoing work around this area. And something I was going to mention at the end, but I'll mention now, we're looking at doing a drink drive campaign directed at the Sikh community, not at the drivers, at the offenders, at the families, because there's the ownership on the family of not getting in that car in the first place. I'll leave it at that, but watch this space, you'll be seeing a short video coming out to address that problem. Mental well-being. I think, last year, I went to a funeral of a young male, Sikh male, who committed suicide. And it was becoming a trend, an issue that was affecting the community at large. So I always say there's always a positive that comes out of a negative. If there's one positive that came out of him passing away, was the fact that on his funeral people spoke about it's an issue and we need to do something about it. So eager enough, what I decided to do was I called a friend on the way from home, and he's actually sitting here, Suki Sagu, said, and he, I was asking him what's out there for Sikh males out there in the community regarding this issue, and he goes, there isn't anything. So what we decided to do was, he said, on the way home, you grab a phone, I'll grab a phone, and let's just answer for calls for people. And that's that's our initial intent. That's all we were going to do. But then what we did was we looked at who else was doing something, working on the same project. So we brought other people, Sikh males, around the table to talk about this. And some streams started to come out about creating awareness about suicide in the Sikh Punjabi community as well. And I was fortunate enough to come across this young man who isn't here today. He's not feeling well, but Shanjit Thacker, the young lad on the top right here, young lad in his 20s who's at university. So when I contacted Taraki to say, this is what we're doing, would you like to be on board? I was expecting someone my age to be at the end. I was surprised to come across a young man who's still at university in his 20s, and he wanted to tackle the issue, the taboo subject of mental health in the Sikh community. He's actually been awarded last week, he was awarded a Young Person Star Award by West Midlands Combined Authority for the work he's been doing. And as a result of his work, we supported him as much as we could in his work to help him get to where he is as well. There's now a female version. So what he does is quite simple. If you go on Instagram, you can find him on Instagram, on social media. He's asked for people to contribute about their mental health problems, to come out openly about it. He includes a picture, and he puts the job that the person belongs to and their age to show that it affects every single one. Right? No one's immune to mental health. So, and he puts a little biography of the person talking about themselves, about their issues. So, a great piece of work here, but what we did was using our contacts that we made, I contacted the NHS, and we were able to put on a 2-day course, a mental health first aid course for 10 organisations. And the one thing I said to these 10 organisations was, individually, you will never hit your 100%. And I believe this is for every organisation. You will never hit your 100%. Because by saying you will hit your 100% is saying that I'm the only one that can do this. But the message I want to portray to the 10 organisations was collectively, we'll smash it. But individually, there's only so much we can do. And the message we want to do, we need to start working together in all spheres of work to get the best out. The driving point should be about the end result. Not about branding, about who's doing what, about the work stream. That's the most important part. And that's what this association is all about. It's not about we're doing this. We want to help others get to the end goal. People need support. The end result is about supporting those individuals. So there's ongoing work that we're still doing. As a result of that mental health first aid, Sharon is actually trained as a trainer. And he's actually going into the universities. He will be going into the universities and talking to and providing this training to students in the university campuses. Okay, so the link. We are the link to the community, and I urge forces to utilise that link. We're not, sometimes we tend to go external, but we're sitting here amongst you. Talk to us when there's things that are troubling the community. We are the community. We can let you know what's going on. There's a number of organisations we get called by on a regular basis. I would go as far as to say on a weekly basis. And just for confidentiality, I'm not going to mention the organisations, but there's a number of organisations that contact us about issues where we can advise them the best ways of going about the business. So if there's organisations out there that do want to contact us, by all means contact us, and we'll see where we can provide our support for you. Okay, so may the sovereign flag of the Sikhs continue to flourish around the world and fly high. That's what we're about. We were made to stand out, and that's what we'll continue to do. So talking about future projects, we're currently in talks with a number of people around a regular TV show to go on online or on the channels and actually talk about matters that affect the Sikh community, and also give crime prevention advice in Punjabi. Sometimes, we're forgetting our elders who don't still speak English or don't really understand it. So what's the best way we can give the message to them? So it's via these channels. So that's in the pipeline as well, and that will be going national, international. The channels are all international now. So that's the type of work we'll be doing. I've mentioned the Drink Drive campaign as well, so I'll be talking to Shanti afterwards about how we can deliver that. We will be setting the organisations up as well, so the various of the forces that are present today as well, and we're in talks with them as well, and we'll be helping them set up the Sikh associations as well to carry on the great work really. And also there's a couple of organisations here I've spoken to. Safeguarding is key. Safeguarding is everyone's issue here, right? It's responsibility of everybody. So what we want to do is we want to work with groups that want to be active, not sitting around tables about what shall we do. We know what we need to do. So we'll be talking to those organisations, bringing them together, and setting some kind of group up where we just go there and just deliver. Because that's the delivery is key. For too long we've been speaking about things that need to be done. We're never going to get done. So we will be in contact with anybody listening out there as well. Do contact us if you want to contribute and just crack on. That's what we're about. By all means, do. Initiative that we actually worked on, which we hope to fine tune and then take out to the rest of the forces, is we call it SCAN. It's basically a number of agencies from the community that come together in the likelihood of a terrorist attack in the West Midlands. We've had some working around how can we best facilitate Gurdwara premises to accommodate and support the agencies. So we were talking to charities, the Association of Doctors and Nurses, about how can we congregate in one area and actually supply that extra support to the agencies if ever an instance that was to take place. We just need to fine tune it, and that's something that we will be delivering out to other forces as well. So how can you help? So just support us. The community is to have faith in us and the work we're doing, and to support us. And for the forces, all we'll ask is that when we start knocking on your doors, open them with big arms, right? Let us in, and it's all about what we can do for you and collectively make an impact. So again, Jude Nishan Ren Pant Maharaj de Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Thank you, Cam. I think the journey of the NSPA UK is exciting. I'm sure everybody in the room and those watching will comfortably support us and create some new ideas. I'm excited. Thank you. So the next speaker I'm going to introduce is one of the two female inspirational speakers that we have today, a lady by the name of Deb Gould. Now I invite Deb Gould to make her way to the front. Deb is a principal Crown advocate. Deb's role involves preparation of serious criminal cases on behalf of the Crown. Deb's specialised cases are that of homicide, multi-handed sexual offences, child trafficking, and importantly, child sexual exploitation. Thank you.
Good morning. It's very nice to meet all of you. It was a very grand opening, so I hope I can live up to it in some respects. I wasn't really sure what I was going to say today, and while I was preparing it, I was really thinking about the name of the organisation. So the National Association of Sikh Police Officers. So it's two aspects of identity, being Sikh and being a police officer, and how those two things intertwine. Now, for me, the very first time I was involved in any case involving a Sikh police officer, two Sikh officers, very experienced officers, also happened to be a case involving a murder involving members of the Sikh community. And when I prosecuted that case, there were a whole series of things I just did not know. And I made a lot of assumptions. I got a lot of things wrong, I'm sure, but I had people who were there to assist me. And there's a poem that I found that I'm going to read you a little bit of because it struck me when I was thinking back to that case. It says, and I won't read you all of it, there is something I don't know that I'm supposed to know. I don't know what it is I don't know, and yet I am supposed to know. And I feel I look stupid. I feel that you know what I'm supposed to know, but you can't tell me what it is because you don't know that I don't know what it is. And that very much struck me when I thought back to that case, because there were, not just for me, but for other members of the people involved in that case, a lot of learning. So the father of the victim came to the UK, his daughter had come from India, she had been murdered. He didn't speak any English, I didn't speak any Urdu. We weren't able to communicate except through the officers who were there to assist me. I wasn't able to understand many of the customs and practices which were new to me, and I had people who were able to explain that to me. And as a result of that and the sensitivity of how it was handled by the officers involved and the understanding of the victim's father in how we dealt with things, it turned out to be a very successful case. Now, leading on from that, I was involved in a child sexual exploitation case, and Sunita invited me to come and speak to the University of Wolverhampton because the community had asked for somebody to come and speak about CSE because it was a subject that was very much hidden and something that people didn't want to discuss. And together with Harvey, who allowed me to speak for an inordinate length of time, I don't quite know why, we had, I hope, a very positive engagement where a subject that I know people find is very difficult was opened up, and I was able to speak about the case that I had done and hear back from the community about some aspects of CSE which caused them concern. Now, things have moved on from there because recently I've been involved in a forced marriage case. Again, one of the officers involved in that case was a Sikh police officer. That didn't involve any members of the Sikh community. But again, it was an example to me of that other part of identity, the excellent policing that I was provided, and all of the knowledge that I didn't have around other communities. So I'm very proud to be invited to speak here today. I hope that the message that I'm trying to convey is that I have very much valued all of the input from every police officer I've been involved with, whether they've been Sikh or not, but the fact of that other aspect of identity has opened up for me a whole new way of communicating, a whole new understanding, and given me the opportunity to be much more, I hope, sensitive and aware of different aspects of the community which I serve as well as you. I don't know if there's anything else that I can usefully add, but I wish you very good luck with the organisation, and I hope that you are able to progress things in future and bring that cultural awareness, sensitivity, knowledge back to help people like me prosecute cases successfully, because ultimately what we are all here to do is to bring our collective knowledge, our collective heritage together so that we can serve the whole of the community in this area. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Chi Donald. Chi, where are you? Chair? Apologies, Chair.
Keep trying. Shay.
It'll give you some time to get to the stage. So, Chi is the National Vice Chair of the Police Federation of England and Wales. He's a spokesman for the Federation on Diversity and Mental Health. I'm also informed that special thanks are to be given to you for our lanyard as well. So thank you for that too. So I'll
Good morning, everyone. I've been called a lot of names in my career as a police officer. It's Shay, and it's really an absolute pleasure to be here today, not to mention a privilege as well. Today, the National Sikh Police Association becomes the 13th National Staff Association to be formed. And that's really something to be applauded, and something that we are rightfully celebrating today. I know recently Harvey was given a bravery award by his chief. Harvey, as a leader of one organisation to another, once you've got your feet under the table, I think you'd be up for another bravery award in a bit as well. I said about the day being around the launch of the National Sikh Police Association. But today is also special because it's the National Time to Talk Day. So this is a day that they've set aside and identified to talk about issues of mental health. And we had a presentation just a little while ago to stress the importance of mental health and well-being. And in the police service, it's even more so important. Nationally, we look at a figure of 1 in 4 people suffering with mental health. Within the police service, through work that's being conducted by Mind, and it's not just the police service, I would stress it's across all emergency services, that number is doubled. So the risk of suffering with mental health in the emergency service is sitting at around 1 in 2, or 50%, which is an extremely high risk. And in policing, the ability to talk about those issues are further exacerbated by the culture of policing. For a significant period of time, policing has always been male-dominated, and with male-dominated cultures and the rough and tumble world of policing, there's an element of machoism which still exists, and because of that, it's not often talked about. And I said mainly male-dominated. 29% of the service amounts to female police officers. We haven't hit a 50% mark yet. So particularly in this service, it becomes difficult to talk about these things. And when it goes wrong around mental health, it goes terribly wrong. And speaking as an organisation which represents police officers, we know that sadly on Christmas Eve we lost officers through suicide, and we lost a number of other officers later on in the year as well. And I spoke about policing being a difficult area to talk about it in, but there are some communities and some cultures where it's even more difficult and harder. And where we have a conversation about it, in those areas it's more of a whisper than it is actually a conversation. And this is one of the reasons why staff support networks, staff associations are so important. By their very design, they're there to support, advise, assist, and guide their members through a multitude of issues. And I've spoken about members within policing, but we've seen the fantastic work that the West Midlands Sikh Police Association has done within communities. And that's echoed in the same, through the same reasoning. It also helps to identify with a particular group.